Well, this morning, the future of President Obama's #1 piece of legislation, his health care law, is now in the hands of the Supreme Court.
The justice's decision will affect tens of millions of uninsured Americans. Chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford is in Washington this morning with the very latest. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning, Erica. That's right. I mean, this could be one of the court's biggest cases. The justices are going to tackle a question they have never decided and one that could affect almost everyone in this country. Can the federal government force you to buy something? The White House called it a once-in-a-generation reform.
We are done.
Landmark health care legislation pushed through a reluctant Congress without a single Republican vote.
It is an extraordinary achievement.
It's now a hot-button issue for the Republican candidates vying to take back the White House.
Obamacare is wrong. I'll repeal it. I'll get it done.
But the Supreme Court may do that first. The justices will decide whether the Affordable Care Act, which promised health care to 32 million uninsured, is unconstitutional. At issue, whether Congress overstepped its power when it required everyone to buy insurance or pay a penalty. Florida and 25 other states joined forces to argue that is unconstitutional and that Congress can't make people buy something they may not want.
This law is not just unconstitutional, it's unprecedented. It's the first time in our nation's history that individuals have been forced to engage in commerce by the federal government.
The administration says the law's individual mandate provision is critical to its success. Without everyone kicking in, other provisions, like coverage for people with pre-existing conditions, won't work. The challenge also could affect benefits already in effect. Since the law passed, 1 million young people have taken advantage of the provision allowing them to stay on their parents' insurance until the age of 26. And 35,000 are now covered because insurance companies are banned from discriminating against kids with pre-existing conditions. That would extend to adults in 2014 if the Supreme Court agrees.
Jan, if the Supreme Court finds the law unconstitutional, what about people who have been relying on the benefits?
Well, that's a great question, and it's unclear. I mean, as part of this massive case, the court is going to decide whether, if it knocks down one part of the law, like the part requiring you to buy insurance, whether other parts of the law can still remain in effect. So this may end up going back to Congress at some point for a whole new law. But Chris, I mean, that just shows how complex this case is. And think about this. The justices normally spend an hour listening to arguments. In this case, they are going to take 5.5 hours. That is the most in modern history.
Jan Crawford in Washington this morning. Jan, thanks.